Hi, welcome. We're really excited and thank you for joining our Masters of Public Administration information session. This is an opportunity for us to really connect, right? And kind of get to know our program a little bit better. My name is Alejandra Peña. I use she, her, a pronouns, and I serve as the advising and outreach manager at the Evans School. But today's not about me. It's about you all, of course. But I'm a proud first generation college student of color, first generation American, and I'm really honored to assist students in their pursuit of higher education and help students gain an understanding that no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, college is possible. I am thrilled to be here with you all to talk about our MPA program. At times, I find that navigating the realm of higher education can be a difficult task on your own. And so my role is to help you along the path of applying to our program and maybe help demystifying the process a bit to provide you some tools to feel more comfortable and more confident. Now, I am just one of your hosts today. I'm also joined by our MPA program director and associate professor, Dr. Carrie Martin, and I will send it her way.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's really fun to see all of your faces and to know that people are interested in the program. I am Karen Martin. I am the program director, which means I kind of am the official administrator of the program here at Evans. We have several programs like PhD, executive, undergrad. So I'm the person who does the master's program. I have been in this position. I'm starting this is my, I guess, my first official full academic year. And I've been at Evans since 2017. And I did my MPP at UC Berkeley, where I also did my PhD and a master's in poli sci. And I really love public policy. So I'm excited to talk to you about why it's an excellent idea to get an MPA with us. And I'll turn it back over to you, Alejandra.
Thank you, Karen. We're so thrilled to have you today. And before we dive in, at the University of Washington, we do start every session with a land acknowledgement. The University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. The Evans School acknowledges that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. Now, here's a quick overview, but not limited for our agenda today and what we will discuss. During the presentation, as questions come up, we do encourage you to please include them in the Q&A feature below, or maybe just jot them down nearby. Now, me and Karen won't be able to see the Q&A while presenting, as we'll kind of be going back and forth, but please know that we'll be trying to monitor this feature. And also, we've dedicated time at the end of the presentation for those questions that may come up, right? Sometimes they can get lost in the chat, so if you can do the Q&A, it's just a little helpful in that regard there. But I'm going to send it on over to Karen to talk about defining public policy.
Great, thank you. Now, you might think that you already know what public policy is, but my experience is if you ask 10 people to define it, you get 10 slightly different definitions. So I'm going to give you kind of an expansive overview of all of the things that relate to public policy. So you can go to the next slide. So first, the power of public policy. Why I personally love it and why I really like teaching it. It's inherently interdisciplinary. It draws on a variety of fields across the social sciences in a very practical and tangible way. It is not just theoretically drawing on those, it's very literally drawing on those. So you take classes in a variety of places, variety of domains. So we do a lot of work in law, psychology, sociology, economics. You take classes in statistics, political science is kind of woven throughout. This is both theoretical and empirical, so we draw on a lot of learning across what we know in the world of social sciences because public problems are complex, and so they require complex solutions. So we need a lot of information. So that is why it's inherently interdisciplinary, which does set it apart from other types of programs and other types of degrees. So it's very different from getting like a master's in political science or a master's in sociology, where you go deep into that domain. Public policy draws on those with an eye always towards problem solving. You can go to the next slide. So the power of public management is that it is a way that we think about the interconnections between individuals, the organizations where they work, and the institutions that comprise all of those organizations and people. Very importantly, at the crux of it is that we're always thinking about maximizing the public good, like what is in the public interest. And so public management is about how we figure out the best way to lead with that focus on the public good, which is different from the private sector, which is a focus on profit. Right. So there's a really big difference there. And the way that that informs everything that we do is massive. So one of the things that is through line in our program is that we think a lot about the essentials of ethical and effective leadership and the various ways that that shows up. Public management itself is oriented towards how policy actually gets implemented. So you can have a big, beautiful idea that you develop in your policy analysis class or as a policy analyst working in government. You've laid out all of the feasible trade-offs, you've figured it all out, but then what? So how that actually happens, how that idea gets translated into actually affecting people's lives must involve public management. So focusing on how you lead people, how you run organizations is really key. And the backdrop to all of that is the importance of political realities that we are facing. So everything is somehow political, one way or the other. Even if you are a neutral kind of public analyst person, there's already been political input into what questions are asked, what data are available, what gets funded, et cetera, et cetera. So nothing can be entirely politically neutral. And so public management is just figuring out a way to grapple with that reality in a way that shows up again for focusing on the public good. You can go to the next slide. So together, public policy and public management, there are ways to pull more directly on the levers of power or to assist those who do. And when I say that, I mean thinking about like how the world actually works, like how money is actually spent, how taxes are collected, who has what authority to do what, is all about public policy and policy management. And so figuring out the ways to maximize that for the public good, you are in a position to influence those outcomes. It's a way to ensure the ethical and efficient use of public resources and programs. Again, because this is about serving the public, the ethics require to use public resources in a way that is unbiased, that is fair, that has to do with the various forms of justice. Like that is baked into everything. And so which is again different from the private sector, right? And so thinking about ethics and efficiency is really something that is a constant concern because we're dealing with public problems. That means we're dealing with public resources, which means it is not belong to one person, it doesn't belong to one organization. It's really for all of us. And that's kind of sets it apart from other places, other fields. I like it because it's a field where it's difficult to get bored because it's interdisciplinary and because the problems are so large and so complex. There's always potential for new insight, new people, new data, new analysis. There's always a way to make a positive impact on the world. What I've discovered is that people who are drawn towards the idea of investing in public policy in terms of getting more training is it tends to be people who want to make some changes in the world. It tends to be people who are like looking at the status quo, not thinking, great, no changes, no notes. There are more people who are like, I would like to have an effect on changing one or more aspects of public life. And importantly, it is something that affects all of us. So if you feel like you are somebody who's curious about how to have an effect in the broader society, then public policy might be a place for you. Next slide. I think that's yeah, back. Oh, I have one more slide. Okay. So why study it? If you are somewhat practical, then this will definitely speak to you because it is in a very real way. You're acquiring a toolkit that allows you to answer these very complex questions while balancing all of the types of things I already mentioned, the ethics, the leadership, the efficiency, the concern with public good. So it's a very specific toolkit, analytical toolkit, frameworks, concepts, practices that would equip you to be in position to actually make progress on something that is very complex in the social world. So you learn to analyze, design, implement, and evaluate public policies. Those are four words that like have lots and lots of information behind them. So just specializing in policy analysis would be one thing. Specializing in policy design would be another. It would be different to specialize in implementation. But if you get a master's degree, you get some familiarity with all four aspects of that, and then you're equipped, if you want to delve deeper into one or more of those. I think that, and we're going to talk about like, applying and what it requires. I think that something that stands out to me in terms of people who are successful applicants and successful students, and then most importantly, successful in their career, are people who do have a real sense of kind of curiosity and creativity, because this is all about problem solving. And so you pick the problem that interests you, you pick the solutions, but being able to have that kind of centered aspect of curiosity and creativity does serve you quite well in this field. And I think with that, I turn it back over to you, Alejandra.
Thanks, Karen. Absolutely. As a top-ranked national program situated in one of the world's most innovative regions, we do have these three pillars of values that we would like to highlight with you all to kind of help round it out too. So the Evans School is building a necessary engine of change driven by the values that guide our work. So that's equity, courage, and service. In equity, we commit to discovering and daylighting disparities, taking anti-racist action, and dismantling systems of oppression. In courage, we stand for policy and practice leadership informed by evidence and empathy, data and compassion, and head and heart. In service, we have a responsibility to think beyond ourselves and act to uplift all. Now, when these principles all come together, it helps us establish connections with professionals, peers, and alumni, which can lead to mentorship, job opportunities, maybe industry insights, collaborations, and a broader support system for personal but also professional growth. As we learn more about the program, we would like to give a snapshot of what that, sorry, of what the curriculum and the expertise that are around here. So the Evans School specializes in research and training across a broad array of disciplines that revolve around the policy sphere and working in public service. So we have environmental policy and management, international development, metropolitan and urban policy, nonprofit management and philanthropy, public finance and budgeting, public leadership management and decision making, public policy analysis and evaluation, and social policy. Now, you have the opportunity to take courses across a multitude of areas. Now, if there is maybe one or more that sparks joy for you or speaks to you, we have faculty that would be delighted to connect with you. Although we don't have the option for, let's say, like a specialization approach, as Karen mentioned, the interdisciplinary and flexible nature of the program provides a pathway to customize your degree to your advantage. And that's creating a focus area if you wish to and choose to lean into. Our MPA is defined as one program with two different paths to choose from. To give you a sense of what this looks like, full-time students will be enrolled in 12 credits or more a quarter to be on track for a degree in 2 years. Our part-time students will be in roughly 8 credits a quarter to be on track for a degree in 3 years. Now, to gauge an understanding of maybe the course load, 1 credit is equivalent to about 3 or 4 hours of work outside of the classroom. Now, we will touch this on a bit later, but please know that each path is eligible and to be considered for our fellowships. Now, it's fairly common that we see our students having a part-time job, maybe full-time, internship, or other responsibilities outside of the classroom. So please know that we are championing you on and want you to take the best path that fits for you. Now, alternatively, if you pursue one path at first and you decide that you would like maybe to switch gears at some point during the program, we're more than happy to help you make that switch. Students will have a one-time option to opt into either path. And that's just ultimately a conversation with an academic advisor. Now, to summarize this page, this is one program where you have the same research opportunities in real-world policy. It just depends on which pace works best for you. Here's a snapshot of our students for this incoming class. The students are essential in shaping the creation of shaping the community. So whether that stems from their interests, identities, lived experiences, and perspectives. As we take a moment to explore the demographics, I'd like to acknowledge the local, statewide, national, and international makeup of this year's class, just like this room here today. Historically, we see that our first year MPA students are from the West Coast, so including our top three, so Washington, Oregon, and California. And this year, we saw an uptick in our Texas folks. So shout out to Texas. With our international population, we have a few continents represented and have seen that most of our students are residents of China. But in general, the overall total percentage of our students outside of the US is roughly around 17%. Now, we celebrate our students' journeys. Whether you are fresh out of your undergraduate program or still, continuing to get that degree, or maybe you have a few or more years out in the career, out in the world, right? So let's kind of talk about how that support system works for you here at Evans. Our commitment in getting students involved and exploring resources available to them is instrumental to your time here at Evans. We grow your professional and hard skills. So think of those as, your quantitative technical skills, along with your interpersonal skills, maybe such as writing and critical thinking. And these will evolve through a combination of experiential learning opportunities, maybe like internships, our graduate capstone project, and even a few master's level research opportunities. Now, all of these experiences are designed to prepare you for a career in public service, whether that's at the local, state, federal, or even tribal level. Student groups provide an opportunity for students to engage with folks outside of the classroom while creating your own network of folks working through, at times, maybe similar but different stages of the program. Our student affairs team is here to equip you with the support to achieve your highest potential. We want to watch you thrive during your time with us. We offer resources such as advising, career coaching, and a sense of belonging and community, just to name a few. As you are working through your program, know that we will be here every step of the way. Now, you may be thinking, this is all very helpful, but how does one apply to this stellar program, right? Great question. Thank you for asking. Let's get into it. So we welcome and encourage applicants from all areas of the world and actively promote a broad spectrum of lived experience, first gen, marginalized identities, military connected, socioeconomic status, and personal backgrounds. There are no formal course prerequisites for our MPA program. However, applicants with maybe some prior coursework in introductory microeconomics or statistics may be a bit more competitive. If you have not previously taken a college level course in microeconomics or statistics, you may be interested in doing so maybe at a local community college or university. Alternatively, Khan Academy is another great option for some folks who may need a jump start in that direction. Now, the MPA Admissions Committee evaluates applications holistically. As part of their consideration, they will look for previous academic or professional exposure to government and policymaking, undergraduate work in mathematics, microeconomics, or statistics, and exceptional writing skills. For logistics, the University of Washington Graduate School requires an application fee of $90. If you are eligible, the graduate school has a few fee waivers for those who qualify. And if you have any questions regarding payment or if you're eligible, please connect with us directly so we can walk through some potential options. Regarding the English language proficiency, these need to be demonstrated if you are not a native speaker of English. The University of Washington Graduate School outlines how applicants can demonstrate English proficiency, and an example of this would be like submitting a TOEFL or an IELTS scores, and these would need to be sent officially. Now, I hope some of these items may look familiar when it comes to application materials. So we're just going to touch briefly on these items for you all. So first is resume, right? I know we live in a world where we should condense our resume to a one page. Not the case here. If your resume needs to extend to 2 or maybe 3 pages, please know that we're going to review it in its entirety. Unofficial transcript with a cumulative 3.0 GPA or above and awarded bachelor's degree. 1 to 3 letters of recommendation. Now, it says 1 to 3, right? 1 is required. Your second and third letter of recommendation is completely optional. Your statement of purpose, this is where you get to lift off the page, right? We want to know where you've been, where you are currently, and where you'd like to go. Specifically, why Evans and why now? Your statement of quantitative preparation will help kind of unlock an idea and foundation of what your quantitative stance is. Again, we're a little bit nosy, right? So we just want to know what kind of foundation are we building off of to help support you when it comes to this program. All this to say, again, holistic approach. We have some videos online that kind of go more into depth of these, and I'm more than happy to put those in the chat. But this just gives you an understanding of the application materials we're looking at. Now, if you get anything from today, be mindful of your timeline. There's 2 different deadlines that we offer for students. The priority application deadline requires that all your applications submitted on 11:59 Pacific Standard Time on January 15th. That's next Thursday. For folks interested in fellowships, there is also a deadline if you want to be considered for fellowship funding opportunities, and that is also January 15th. Please know that you don't need to submit a separate application, as your admissions file acts as your fellowship application as well. The regular application deadline requires that all application materials are submitted by 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on May 15th. However, please keep in mind that course registration begins around mid-June. So if you would like some more like ample time to select from our course offerings, we highly encourage you to apply before the May 15th deadline. Now we are rolling admissions, and so the sooner you submit your application to be considered for within your admissions file, the sooner you will receive a decision. Now, at times, students ask us, what else can I do to be a competitive candidate? The answer isn't comparing yourself to others, my friends. Take this opportunity to showcase yourself. You have skills, talents, and strengths to offer this program. Highlight your journey within the application materials that we touched on. We want to see how you will impact this program and make the policy sphere a more dynamic field. Now, I know we've covered a lot of content in a short amount of time, what feels like, from defining public policy, the foundations of our program, how to get involved, the application process, and what materials to include within it to be a successful candidate. We'll be moving into Q&A shortly, but we just wanted to throw our contact information your way, as some of you may have some questions later regarding the admissions process or the program. We have one more slide that we'll do, but absolutely. As questions come up, like Karen mentioned, like please reach out to us. That's exactly why we're here and why we do what we do. So thank you again for joining us today. If you aren't subscribed to our mailing list or subscribed to our YouTube channel, I suppose, please do so. This is the QR code that will register for our mailing list, and we can send more information your way, and you can stay connected with us. But we really hope that you found this helpful and informative as we provide maybe some more clarity into the admissions process and share our mission and vision with you all. Please stay connected. We're here to help you through this process. So whether it's 2 days or 2 months from now, we hope to welcome you into our community. And can I just say, can we get a virtual hand of applause for our wonderful MPA program director, Dr. Karen Martin, for joining us today. So thank you
That's
so
very
much.
kind. I'm excited to see so many people here who are perhaps curious about us. So I would love to see your names and your faces in your applications this year. And yeah, stay in touch. Let us know if we can answer any more questions.
Thanks, y'all.
Hey, bye, everybody.